Welcome to Mountain Creek, Arkansas, located east of the Pig Trail, Highway 23, on 215 and west of Oark, nestled at the foot of the Ozark Mountains, and southwest of Spy Rock off Morgan Mountain Road. Richard Howard has an incredible variety of herbs and wildflowers on his place. In this video, Richard will present some of the amazing examples of life on his homestead.
Yeehaw! Pretty deep.
My name is Richard Howard. I live in Mountain Creek, Arkansas, 7th generation. I've studied medicinal herbs and plants for 35 years. A lot of it passed down from generation to generation. And I want to just show you how it naturally grows out in the forest instead of in some pharmaceutical thing you see in the store. Lots of stuff that Food and Drug has actually denounced is still usable. I won't preach to anybody about do use this and what it, I'm just going to let you know what, to my knowledge, it's good for. And just like right here in this one grouping, we're with mayapple, which some people know as mandrake. So it goes back to medieval times and biblical times. You've got a male that's a single stalk. You've got the female with a Y that has a white blossom. It's not fully bloomed. Hopefully we'll find one that's fully bloomed. And the apple produces an eatable apple that they actually make jelly out of. But the thing about the rest of the plants, the root, the stalk, everything else is poisonous. Actually, the Indians used it for suicide because it's a deadly plant. But it's amazing that it produces an eatable apple that you can actually make jelly out of. And they grow in groves. You can find 200 or 300 in one patch. But the apples, when they, about July, they'll turn yellow, and they're absolutely delicious. Another plant here is called cleavers that grows here. It's a viney, and it'll stick to you. That's why they call it cleavers. But it is actually a heart medication, and it produces seeds that you can actually make teas and coffee, and it actually calms you down. It vines out and grows all over the place. It's actually a ground cover, and it's doesn't have much of a bloom, but you can tell it by the coarseness of the fine hairs on it, which causes it to cling to you, from the name cleavers. But and then we also have what's blooming right now is dewberries. They'll have eatable berries. They come out before blackberries do, and it's also a ground cover. It doesn't grow tall like blackberries does or any other berry. It's a close to the ground vine, and they'll be red and then they'll turn darker, and they're also eatable. Now, this is another interesting plant. This is called jack-in-the-pulpit. Same thing with all species. You've got the male, you've got the female. And what's unique about the jack-in-the-pulpit is this right here. And the female, it gets its name from this being a pulpit. Underneath, you'll see a stem, which when it's mature will be white. This little small part right in the heart of it will turn snow white. And then underneath this hood, you'll get a pattern that's almost like a leopard when it's mature. And this is a pretty big one. I've seen them up to almost 3 foot tall. But this is a good size plant. At the bottom, the root is like an onion. And I would never suggest you biting into it because it's probably one of the hottest things you've ever ate. Indians used it for cooking with, but I wouldn't put it in nothing because it's like 1,000 hot needles in your tongue. It's unbelievably hot. But this is called jack-in-the-pulpit. There's 2 types of seal. It's called Solomon seal. You've got a poisonous and a non-poisonous. And hopefully, sometime today, we'll see both. And the only difference is, that tells you the difference, is the poisonous will have a berry head at the head of the plant. And you see how jagged it's right, left, opposite leaves? Well, the non-poisonous, the good Solomon seal, will have white bells hanging down, arched down off of the plant, hanging down, and the poisonous has the berries at the head of the plant. But this one is the poisonous. But it hasn't started bearing yet, so it's hard to, that's why you have to wait till they're fully bloomed before you do anything with them, due to the fact that you really need to know which is which. The poisonous Solomon seal. You can see the bloom starting right here, coming out of that leaf. This will grow into a cluster about the size of a silver dollar. And this is a very petite plant, but the cluster of berries, this light plant will hold that cluster and never let it touch the ground, even though it's 5 times bigger than the plant. And like I say, the poisonous will seed up here. And if we find some of the non-poisonous, there'll be bells hanging down off the bottom, arched over with white bells all the way down. So this is the poison Solomon seal. And they're lookalikes, and that's what you got to be careful with in the medicinal world, is the ones that look just like the good one.
What's the Solomon seal used for?
It can be for cuts, bruises, also in some heart medications. We finally ran across the non-poisonous Solomon seal, the good one. I was telling you that the poisonous has the berry head at the top and will drop over, and the non-poisonous